Hey everyone, and welcome to Read This Now, the weekly webcast where Brad Gustafson and I share two books that we love and we think you should read. When, Brad?
Right now. How'd you like
Brad,
that? Thought I'd throw the prop in there just for effect.
boy, we're getting fancy up in here, aren't we?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I
Yes.
love it. I think you're extra excited because we're actually together this week.
I know. How great. So welcome back, Jen. I know you were making a difference somewhere on the planet.
I got real excited watching your episode, though. Always get real jealous of whoever is participating
Yeah.
because I think, oh, that could be me. And then I remember it often is me. So I need to not be jealous.
Yeah. I loved last week, she had some
Yeah.
props to kick off her book talk. Such a fun. I just found myself getting engaged by that. So I should maybe take some notes and try to do. Oh, hey, maybe I did indirectly take notes
Yes.
with the props, right?
And
Okay.
she's such an energetic book
Yeah.
talker.
She's
You
great.
can tell she really feels the passion for the book she's sharing.
For sure. Yeah, she, as you know, but other people might not, when we do the 30-second book talk
Mm-hmm.
world series, video series, Julie's done it, I think, a couple of years, and she's always one of many favorites, just so
So
engaging and
good.
creative, and the love of literacy shines through, but in really creative ways.
And you know her, of course, better than I do. I've only met her in person, face to face once. But I found that same bubbly, passionate, enthusiastic personality that she is when book talking is exactly who she was when I met her as well.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Super authentic.
Where I feel like this is turning into the Julie Bloss show, which is awesome because Julie's
I
awesome. But the last thing I'll say about Julie for right now is I was recently in Oklahoma helping out with something, and she gave me this cool, thoughtful little care package, and it had a book from Oklahoma, some
know.
different food from Oklahoma. But anyway, there was some honey from Oklahoma. So last night I had a peanut butter, banana, and honey sandwich with Oklahoma honey from Julie. So that was completely random, but yet kind of related to what we're talking
But
about.
on the other hand, can I just tell you, this is just one more opportunity for me to reiterate that we are like siblings from different parents, because peanut butter and honey sandwich is like if I were in prison and that was my last meal, that's what I would request. So in addition to our love of water,
Yep.
we also share a love of peanut butter and honey sandwiches. Every once in a while I like to mix it up with a banana, but peanut butter and honey is
Yeah.
my no
So
pun
good. So
intended.
good. So good. So good. So I suppose we should deliver on the promise of the show and each
Yes.
share a book. You want to go
Sure.
first? You want me? You want? Okay.
Sure. I'm real excited to share this book. I haven't shared a picture book in a little while, so I'm
Okay.
excited to bring a picture book to the table.
Nice. It's going to be a double whammy on picture books this show then.
I love it. But you know, have you ever read a book where I've read a book, I'm reading this book and I know right away I have to share this on Read This Now. Like I
Yeah.
know
Oh, yeah.
right away that this is a book I have to share. But at the same time, I feel nervous that I won't do the book justice. So if you're watching this and you think that book looks okay, trust me, it is stellar. And if
Okay.
you're watching it and think that book looks stellar, trust me, it's even better than you think
Nice.
it's going to be. So it is called The Old Truck. Do you know it yet, Brad?
No, I don't.
Okay, so it just came out. It's by a pair of brothers, Jarrett and Jerome Pumphrey. And this is their debut book. And it makes me real excited to think about what more they're going to do if this is what they come up with right out of the chute. But I, like our friend Mr. Shoe, this is the cover, but I want to show everyone. I
Please
want to
do.
undress it and take the
Oh,
jacket off
loved.
to show you the case cover, the hard case,
Uh-huh.
which reminds me of like an older book, like a book from 10, 20, 30, 50 years ago, where it has the embossed truck there.
Hey, Jen, you know what I would do if I had that book either at home with my own kids or in a classroom? I would give the kiddos a sheet of paper and a crayon and have them
Yes,
rub
great.
over that, and we'd make our own trucks.
I think that's a wonderful idea. And even in like, as I'm sitting here listening to you tell that, my fingers naturally go to, there's like a tactile experience of feeling the truck. And then of course, you know, I like to go in, and the liner papers for this truck, for this book don't have anything, but there is a secret little gift at the beginning before there even is the title page that says what the title and author and illustrator are, there's this spread that shows, the family who are the center of this journey. You can see there's mom and dad and then the truck, right? And you get this little clue. If you skip this page, you'd never get to see this. You can see that this takes place when mom is pregnant, right? And if you skip that page, I think you miss something special, because this book is all about the passage of time and about dreams we have for each other and for our children and for ourselves. When you get to the first page of the book, baby has already been born.
Oh, that's
So
so
if you
cool.
skip that page, you wouldn't get that, the beginning of their story. And you can see that it's spring and there's the truck over there. And the text says, on a small farm, an old truck worked hard. And then over the next few pages, we see the truck working hard. We see the seasons changing, etc., until eventually the truck gets tired and the truck has to rest. Okay. And you can see dad working on the truck, and finally he gives up and parks the truck next to the barn. But in some ways, that's kind of only the beginning of the journey, because the daughter, she continues to have dreams and aspirations that involve the truck. I don't want to give them all away, but here's a beautiful one. The old truck sailed the seas, and you can see there she is in her little submarine, and look, her ship looks like the truck.
Oh, I'm falling in love with this book.
I know, right?
I love books like this.
Oh, it is so beautiful. And it goes on. She continues to have these dreams, and she gets older and older. And as she gets older, her interests change. She starts to do some of the things dad's doing, like he's fixing the tractor and she's fixing her bike. But then she gets older and starts to work on the tractor. And then she becomes a farmer herself. And when she does, her first task is to rescue the truck.
Looks a little faded in that picture. Is that?
Yes.
Yep.
And she begins to work and work and work until finally she can be back on her farm with her friend from the beginning.
Gosh.
Who looks different, but who has been with her the whole way.
Jen, I don't usually I'm sorry, I'm just having a visceral response to your book talk. I don't know why, but there's maybe it's the nostalgic part of it. There's something about this book and story and the pictures that's so simple, but so there's this heart connection. I love it.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. It's beautifully done. It is very simple, but very powerful.
Yes.
The language is spare, and the illustrations, I don't want to call them simple. I just want to call them intentional. Everything on the page has a purpose. And it came out this month. And so I'm going to go on record and say that so far it's my favorite picture book of 2020. And we'll see what happens, if others come along to topple it from that space. But I'm guessing that it'll be in my top list of 2020 books. And it makes me just so excited to see what these two brothers who wrote this book are going to do next. So that is The Old Truck. And I want to show the cover one more time. The Old Truck. And it is by Jarrett and Jerome Pumphrey.
Fantastic. Grade A or double A or triple A, however they grade eggs. the best rating you can give a book talk. That was awesome.
Yay, thank you. Because I was so nervous about it. Your turn, buddy.
Yeah, and that wasn't some cheesy segue. That was awesome book talk. I am going to talk, my book is about eggs, however, like really good eggs. So I feel like most books, Jen, a lot of books are great for everyone, like readers of all ages, or at least in a whole grade or whole school will love them. And then some books are, in addition to being good for everyone, they will also speak especially to a certain segment of the population, right?
Sure.
I feel like, so this is a book, The Good Egg by Jory, John, and Pete Oswald. I feel like this would be good if you're a principal doing monthly read-alouds, a teacher doing a read-aloud. This will be good for everyone. And this will be really important for your kiddos who are perfectionists or who just want to do the right thing almost
Mm-hmm.
to a point where they're rule bound to a fault. And I happen
Yeah.
to, we have kids here that we serve that fit that description. After hours, get to work with some kiddos who fit that description. So near and dear to my heart are kiddos who maybe even to the point where they're carrying some anxiety about trying to do the right thing, whether that means achieving and studying really hard to get a certain grade or just from a character standpoint, like following the rules. But in a nutshell, this egg fits the T. The egg wants to do the right thing and is keenly aware of other eggs who are not doing the right thing to a point
Mm-hmm.
where it, well, literally it kind of cracks and wears down this egg. And the egg goes through a metamorphosis of sorts where over the course of the story and some unexpected events, I, I'm not trying to be cheesy here, but it like develops a tougher shell,
Sure.
heals and comes to appreciate maybe the imperfections in others while also giving itself a little more grace. And I think again the reason I love this story is it has a message that a whole class, and at the elementary level, like part of this message is kind of worry about yourself, right? When I was a teacher, one of my favorite lines, I don't know how appropriate it was, but sometimes it was to a kiddo who was complaining about someone else, it was, worry about yourself, kiddo, because that's a really big job or a really important job,
Sure.
and the message was like, well, anyway, I'm totally digressing, but the point is sometimes literature speaks volumes more than a dad or a principal or a teacher could.
Sure.
So for all of those reasons and more, I would say read this now, and because your kiddos who are perfectionists or who don't give themselves enough grace or who worry about others too much, because they need you to read this now too.
Sure. Sure. Oh, I love that. And riddle me this: is that by the same author who wrote The Bad Seed?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
um yeah, it is. And I don't know what one. I actually have that one too,
Yeah. And I think
but
there might be another one.
yeah, I think you're right. So, but on this one, I was also going to say the connection. I was at MESPA, the Minnesota Elementary Principal Association. We had our Winter Institute, our annual institute here last
Sure.
week, and I got to be on a panel with some other principals who we did a session on social emotional learning.
Hmm.
And one of the things we did was just talk about and brainstorm in the room lots of different books to help kids learn all different things because social emotional learning is so broad. But I'm
Yeah.
seeing in my role, like anxiety is a really, really, really big, it's a big thing. And to hit
Yes.
it on all fronts, I mean, why not have purposeful books that can help us enter into these conversations so it's not so
Yeah.
awkward and unattached, but it's just really authentic. So books that you and I have talked about this before, but they can transcend like conversation and get to the
Right.
heart of things quicker than people can
Well,
sometimes.
and I don't know, if he really said this, but there's a quote or an expression that goes something like, we read to know we are not alone. And I don't know if
Love that.
I've always heard it attributed to C.S. Lewis, which may or may not be accurate. But this idea that when you read something in a book where the experience is maybe one that you've had, but you've never heard articulated in that way or shown in a way that's positive, where someone perseveres or,
Mm-hmm.
or even gets a few cracks in their shell along the way, helps you feel like I'm not in this alone. And of course, your dad or your principal or your teacher or whatever, they're duty bound to try to help you. But when this book that wasn't written specifically for you, but feels like it was, sends the message like, it's okay, you're not alone. Other people feel this way,
Mm-hmm.
and there's ways to work through it. I think that's super, super powerful. And for the kids who in the room who are not the perfectionists, who are not
Yeah.
paralyzed by that kind of anxiety, it can help them understand those kids who are.
Gosh, that's good and insightful because I never even thought about it that way. But sometimes the kids who are maybe a little more free spirited or less rule aware, how's that for a euphemism?
Yeah, yeah.
They might not understand, like, why is so and so always telling on me? There could be the beginning of
Right.
some empathy there, like so and so sees it differently and it's not even personal, right?
Right, exactly. To just
Hey,
understand the experience a little bit. Yeah, go ahead.
to go, obviously most people have heard of a mic drop before, but what
Yeah.
you said a second ago, kind of re-quoting C.S. Lewis or whoever it was, I'm I want to call that the book drop moment of the show, because I want to take that quote with me. We read sometimes
To
to
know
know.
we read to know we're not alone.
We read to know we're not alone. Okay,
Yeah.
very
And
nice.
again, I don't know if it was really C.S. Lewis, but
Uh-huh.
somebody smart said that.
Well, either way, it's a book drop moment, and I'm going
I
to
love it.
indirectly attribute it to Jen LaGarde.
I love it. I love it. And I like every time we mention a book drop because
Yeah.
that's a phrase I attribute to Hope Gustafson, who,
Yep, love that kid.
yeah, me too,
Yeah,
Brad's daughter. So I
cool.
love that. Well, I think on that note, we should wrap up. But before we go, where can folks go to see all of our other book drops?
I'm pretty sure they should go to the interwebs and
Yes.
type in bit.ly/read_this_now for a plethora of novels and picture books and everything in
Yes.
between. Some really good books that Jen and I have shared and passed on, and that people have been nice enough to recommend to us.
Yay. Thank you so
Cool.
much for a great conversation
Yeah,
today.
really, always a highlight of the week. Thanks, Jen.
All right. See you next time.